If you've been watching this channel for a while, you may remember that I made this video, and this video, where I walk through how to solve the OWASP UnCrackable challenges level 1, 2, and 3. If you don't know what those are just some intentionally vulnerable Android apps that were made by OWASP that they use in a lot of their documentation and things, and you can use some different hacking techniques to solve the challenge in each of those apps. There is actually a fourth Android challenge that I may do at some point in the future, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But in addition to the Android challenges, they also have a couple iOS challenges. And recently I've been trying to do more content around iOS hacking. So in this video, I'm going to solve the OWASP iOS UnCrackable Level 1 challenge. I'll have a link to this in the description down below, but if you want to try to solve this along with me, you can just download the file from the OWASP website. I've actually already downloaded this file and I've re-signed it and installed it on my jailbroken iPhone. I made a video a little while ago showing how to re-sign and sideload iOS apps onto your phone. So if you don't know how to do that, I'll have a link up here in the corner. So if you want to pause this video and go back and watch that, then you can come back and finish this video after you get your IPA file installed on your device. So since I already have the app installed on my phone, I'm just going to open it and see what happens. And it says a secret is found in the hidden label. And there's this field here where once we find the hidden label, we can type in the secret and click verify. I don't know what it is right now, so I'm just going to click test and then click verify. Verification failed. This is not the string you were looking for. Try again. So there are several different ways that we can go about trying to solve this challenge. There are actually a bunch of different solutions linked on the OWASP website, so if you want to check out any of those, feel free. But I actually want to try to use Frida to solve this because I've had a lot of comments on some of my other iOS videos wanting to know more about how you can use Frida with iOS. So I've already installed Frida from Cilio on my jailbroken device. I actually already walked through how to install Frida on my video that I made on how to jailbreak an iPhone. I'll have another link up here in the corner if you want to check that out. But since I already have Frida, I can actually run Frida-ps -UIA. This is just a very simple smoke test that's going to respond with the apps that are running on my device. And if you look here on the third line, you see UnCrackable 1, and the package name is OWASP.Crackme1. That package name might be different for you because I actually re-signed it using a non-developer account, which is the exact same process that I showed in a previous video. And as part of that process, I actually assign it a new package name, and that package name that I assigned it is what's going to show up right here. But now that I know the name of the app, now I can run Frida and actually attach to that process for that application. I can do this by running Frida-U because it is connected over USB, and then the name of that app, which is UnCrackable 1. Now it has attached to that process, and now I can run Frida commands to interact with that application. Now in order to interact and do any sort of instrumentation or anything with Frida, we need to know what type of application we're working with. In most cases, this is probably going to be either Objective-C or Swift. And there are a few different ways you can actually find this out. You can just look at like static analysis, try to see like references to the words Objective-C or Swift, things like that. But if we just want to stick to Frida to solve this, there's actually a command available for Objective-C.Available, and this will tell us if there are Objective-C components available within this application. So when we run that, true. So we know that the application does have Objective-C. And just to be sure, we can also run Swift.Available, false. So there's not Swift implemented in this application, but there is Objective-C. So we're just going to be looking at Objective-C commands. And this is actually something you can use if you ever get to where you want to write some custom Frida scripts. You can actually use this to determine if the application it's running on is Objective-C or Swift, or maybe it has a combination of both, whatever you may be working on. You can use this to actually do like a conditional saying like, if Objective-C.Available, then do this. If Swift.Available, then do this. That way you can actually have a universal script that works for both Objective-C and for Swift. And in addition to those commands where we can check whether it's Objective-C or Swift or whatever the case may be, Frida also gives us a pretty robust JavaScript API that we can use to run several different commands to get a bunch of different information about the application we're working with. The Frida docs page from the official documentation website is pretty good to get you started, but there are a bunch of different blogs and different resources out there to find different commands to use. And one that I found that is a pretty good resource to get started is this blog from someone named Trellis. I don't know who they are, but they have a pretty good little cheat sheet for commands to get us started. And if we look down at the section for JavaScript API, we can see that we can get instance object, we can call method, we can dump the entire view hierarchy of a window. Considering that the hint that they gave us in the app was a secret is found in the hidden label, that tells us that there's probably some sort of text somewhere that is hidden from us, and dumping the entire view hierarchy of this window is probably a good place to get started to see if we can find something that isn't visible to us right now. So I'm going to run this command objective-c.classes.uiWindow.keyWindow, and I'm going to store that value in the variable w. And that's just going to return a handle for that key window, which we can't really make any sense of. It's just some random numbers to us. But then we can also run this next command, which we run on that w variable. So w.recursiveDescription.toString. So that's going to take that handle that we don't really have any information about, and then we're going to get the description from it, and then we're also going to convert it to a string so we can actually read it. And this outputs a lot of text that may be sort of difficult to read, but we do know that our hint in the app said that we wanted to look for a secret found in a hidden label. So some pretty big keywords we can look for in all this garbled text is hidden and label. And if you wanted to, you could copy and paste this into a text editor or something, so you can do like a Control F, or you can run a grep on it or something like that in order to make it easier to search through. And this is a pretty small app, so in a lot of apps you would see in the real world, you would probably have a lot more output from this kind of command. So in that case, using some sort of third-party text editor to search through the text would probably be recommended. But if we just start reading through this, we can remember that we're looking for the keywords hidden and label. So we read through it, we're not really seeing anything that looks interesting so far. And if we get down to about here, we see UI label. That's interesting. We know that label is something we should be looking for. And then if we keep looking, we see hidden equals yes. And that is all part of this UI label that we just saw. So if we look at this whole information for this UI label, we see that text equals I am Groot. And since this is a hidden label and that is some text that seems like it could be some sort of secret that we could be looking for, let's go ahead and try to put that into the app and see what we get. So I just typed I am Groot into the little input form, and I'm going to click verify. Congratulations, you found the secret. So we just solved this first challenge. So OWASP Crackme level 1 is down, and we did it all using Frida. There are several different ways you could have gone about solving this. There are a few solutions listed here on the OWASP website if you want to check out any of those. If you wanted to do it purely through static analysis without actually having to mess with the application running on a physical device at all, there are ways you could do that, and I'm pretty sure one of these solutions actually walks through how to do that. But for me personally, if I ever have a choice, I'm usually going to try to use Frida to do any sort of messing with applications. I just like how Frida gives you a lot of tools to kind of do a lot of different things on mobile applications that don't require you to read through like tedious assembly code and things like that that can take a lot of time. But there are a lot of valuable skills to be learned from doing that static analysis and doing these other techniques to solve this challenge that are not using Frida. So if you want to check out any of these other solutions, again, I will have the link in the description below. So feel free to check that out if you want. And let me know if you want me to solve the iOS UnCrackable Level 2 in a future video.